Hi, everybody. Welcome to the KPRC 2 Sports Podcast, Episode 7. Great to have you with us for the next several minutes. We're going to talk some Houston Texans football. Pleasure to be joined once again. You know him well, Aaron Wilson. Good to see you, Aaron.
Great to see you.
Longtime NFL writer. And since the last time you were on several weeks ago, we can now make it official. Actually, we already have. Everybody already knows by now probably. But Aaron is a KPRC2 and Click to Houston contributor now, Texans contributor. And, man, it's good to have you on, man.
It's
all
fun.
Kinds of great stories you've been filing for us, and we appreciate that. I know you enjoy being out there. Everything about the Texans, you're out there, man.
It's great to be a part of it, and it's a fun collaboration because now we can talk stories. We can think about, hey, maybe we'll do this. Maybe this will be a video. Maybe this will be an article.
Yeah,
it's fun.
It's gonna be fun, and you'll be out at games and home games and some road games. Or I'm not sure how many you're going. You may go all of them. I don't know.
I hope to go to all the.
Maybe
road
we'll see
games.
each other in Denver.
Maybe Denver. Maybe on the same flight.
Yeah, that's right, man. We can map that out. All right, so here we are, Aaron. This has been, they started back on July 29th. I was thinking about it the other day. At least to me, this camp flew by. I don't know, maybe not for others. It just seemed like it went faster, at least for me. But 3 ball games now in the books. They had the Saints, the Rams, and, of course, last night the 49ers to wrap it up. But now it's time to kind of wipe the slate clean. That's behind you now because all these decisions that have to come. This is going to be an important week ahead, days ahead for Lovie Smith, Nick Caserio, as they shape this roster up.
Right. A lot of guys lose their jobs, and it's kind of a sad time because they all worked hard, and then you're out of a job. And you get so close if you make it to the final cut down. And so I just feel bad for these guys because generally if you make it to this stage, you're a good football player. It might not be the right fit here with the Texans, but you're going to, be a competent guy that – just for whatever reason, the numbers didn't work. And they do have some tough decisions, a defensive end, especially between Damone Harris, Derek Rivers. The defensive ends have played so well, and they've had so much depth there. That's a tough call. What do you do with interior defensive line? Is it Kurt Hinish? Is it Ross Blacklock? And Ross is
I want to talk to
bubble.
You. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because that's got a lot of attention that his development just hasn't been there. And some people think maybe it's the system as opposed to, this guy doesn't have any talent. He's got talent. He wouldn't have been drafted as high as he was and all that kind of stuff. But maybe it's not the right kind of fit because if they do part ways with him, I would imagine he'll land a job somewhere, maybe in a position, in a team that maybe fits his style better. But how big a disappointment has he been just with the Texans? So let's just stick with what he's been able to do here.
It has been disappointing, Randy, in the sense that they made this trade where they shipped off DeAndre Hopkins. They got back this second-round draft pick that became Ross Blacklock, and he was their top pick. He's a Bill O'Brien selection. And I don't think it's because of a lack of work ethic or anything. It's just a matter of he's been prone to penalties. We've seen that in the preseason in the Rams game. There was 3 penalties on him in 2 plays. We've also seen that he can get in the backfield, he can penetrate, but so can the other guys, and they're not committing penalties. So there's some mental errors, and I think he would benefit from a fresh start. And I think sometimes playing for your hometown team is tough.
There's some pressures that go with
Elkins High School,
Right.
And I think Ross is a really good guy, and it might click or it might not. And I couldn't say that with more time this year in this system it wouldn't click. I also think that instead of playing the 3 technique behind Malik Collins, he might have been better off playing behind Roy Lopez as a nose tackle and playing on the 2 technique side. With Ross, he's about 300 pounds to 290, usually fluctuates those. He's quick, he's a good athlete, and he can make plays. And for whatever reason, since a good start to camp, it has not sustained in the games. And they've got a decision to make because Kurt Hinish has outplayed him. Kurt Hinish is an undrafted free agent from Notre Dame. They've spent about $85,000 guaranteed, so it's a relative bargain. And he's had a sack. He's done some things. I think that they have a tough call to make. And there are some scenarios because Ross is injured. Ross has a groin injury and won't play, or actually, isn't able to play in this last preseason game.
Yeah.
They have a situation where should they go injured reserve? Should they buy themselves more time and bring him back later in the year? Or is it time to cut ties? And I think that's a debate. It's not a clear-cut decision. And that's why Nick Caserio makes the big bucks, and he'll have to make that call. And I think for Ross, it might really benefit him just to change teams. And there might be some other rosters where they're not as stacked in the interior D-line, and he could go somewhere else.
Let's talk a little bit about what's coming up now in the days ahead. People may not understand what happens now that the 3 preseason games are underway. They don't play their first regular season game until September 11th, and I've got the schedule pulled up, and we'll dive into that here in just a minute. But what's happening in the days ahead? They've got to get this roster cut down. By when? Is it a certain amount each day, or is it just one cut down date that, okay, by this date you got to make all your cuts by now?
Here's where they're at. They got down to 80 players this week. That was the NFL deadline. So you start off and you move down. And then once you're at 80, you go from there to the 53. And 53 is the NFL limit. So you have to cut 27 players generally, unless you're like the Texans and you have an international player. They have an international player that does not count against the roster limit. So they have him, so they have an extra guy, and he'll be on the practice squad all year and not count against the 16-player practice squad limit. After you make your roster cuts, those players are eligible for waivers that are not vested veterans, that aren't terminated contracts, that are subject to waivers. Other teams can claim them. The Texans rank third on the waiver list. So watch out for the Texans. If they see someone else's discards. It's kind of like a game of cards. You pick up that card or you pick up that player.
So they're constantly going to be looking at, everybody's making cuts, so they're thinking, hey, can this guy help? This is where you got to be smart, right?
Well, look
you
at
got
the
to see
tight
what's
end
out
position,
there.
which they already tried to trade for.
Right.
And then that trade with Adam Shaheen was scuttled because he failed the physical. Now he's on injured reserve for the year with the Dolphins. What they could do, they could look at other teams' tight end situations, or they could say, okay, well, we're okay. We're going to wait for Anthony Auclair to get back, and we're going to go with Farrell Brown and Brevin Jordan and Tegan Kuatoriano. So they've got options. And how big of emphasis is tight end in this offense? Not really. I don't think there are going to be a lot of targets for the tight ends, honestly. I think they're going to throw the wide receivers. It's going to be a Brandon Cooks heavy offense.
Do you think, though, if they had the right tight ends capable of making plays, that it seemed like Pep would want that?
Pro Bowl type tight end, yeah. But what they have with Farrow is they've got a guy that's capable of being a starting tight end, former undrafted guy with the Browns, and they just don't have what I would say is a proven, really established starter that you're going to pay a lot of money to.
Yeah.
And, he's got some lofty goals. He wants a David Njoku type contract. He's going to have to catch 60, 70 balls, and I just don't see that happening. And I think Farrell's very talented, and he is a good combo tight end. He can block a little, he can catch. But having some skills and putting it all together, two different things. So I think they're going to look at waivers, and then, they have some other tough decisions. Which corners are you going to keep? How are you going to go about the safety position? Are you going to try to save any money? Are you going to stick with Eric Murray? Or are you going to go with some of the other younger safeties?
Right.
Braylon Arnold's versatility, the fact that he can play nickel or safety is interesting.
It's all about versatility. The more you do, and if you're a talented player, you're going to probably find a home on a roster.
Linebacker.
The way it's going these days.
You're going to have some tough calls there. And then offensive line, if you are an interior guy and you can't play center in both guard positions the way Justin McCray can, if you're not a starter, it's hard to make the team.
All right, let's talk a few more minutes. A couple players, just because they got all the attention during training camp, and we're days away now from September 11th opener at home against the Colts. All eyes, as they should have been during camp, Davis Mills. Everybody watched every single pass. The good balls, some days at camp he was underthrowing guys, couldn't connect on the deep balls, this and that. It's go time on September 11th. I guess we're going to find out, how much growth he has done when they really open up the playbook.
Right.
And he has the guys in front of him. Preseason, I guess throw out the Niners game, you got more guys playing, but those first two, a lot of guys were missing. You really couldn't get a good report on him, I don't think. But we're going to find out a lot about him when that curtain goes up on September 11th. Has this offseason helped him elevate his game, and will it be good enough to be the guy? And the jury's still out, I think.
I think that he has improved. He's upgraded some skills. He's taken on some leadership. He's shown some qualities of stepping up and, being better at distributing the football. He always has had some arm talent. Is he elite with the arm? Probably not, but it's definitely above average.
Yeah, it's a good arm.
Accurate, a good arm.
Yeah.
And he can move a little bit, and he's gotten bigger and stronger. I think he's more sturdy in the pocket, and he looks more comfortable. Everything with his body language, even the way he does his interviews, the guy exudes more confidence than he did as a rookie, where I thought sometimes he's like a deer in the headlights,
it's
even
different
when he's standing at the podium.
Yeah, it's definitely
and that's
different.
hard. You know, it's hard to be that young. You haven't played that much college football, and they're throwing you out there. I thought he did an admirable job last year. I do expect him to make some leap. Philip Dorsett made a great point the other day, the wide receiver. They haven't shown anything. They're not showing their offense, everything.
Very
they've
vanilla.
got. And you know, we want to see more from like what's Pep Hamilton's imprint, and what's it like when Damian Pierce is out there, Brandon Cooks, Laramie Tunsil.
Right.
Those guys haven't been playing preseason football. They even held Pierce out of the Rams game because they'd seen enough from him, and he's exciting.
That said a lot right there, how they feel about him.
I think that he's on to something. They found a really good running back. Jim Nagy from the Senior Bowl was talking about him. Senior Bowl is a point where we're watching him. He's pass blocking, and he's making a lot of noise when he's hitting these linebackers and blitz pickup. The guy's very physical.
Yeah.
And he impressed everybody in the Saints game, and we had that fun interview with him.
I was going to say, yeah, he's one of the best interviews on the team already. He's only a rookie.
Yeah,
he's entertaining to talk with.
Exciting guy, and happy for him. A lot of good things happening for him, and I just heard that he's a new homeowner. I think that was a good decision. I think he's going to be around.
Good. That's a good sign. That's a good sign.
Yep.
You got the rookies, so people are going to be paying attention to what Damian Pierce does, starting with that opener. I think he's going to get a lot of time. I'll be curious what the approach is with him and Mac. How can they use both? Will they rotate him in and out? Is one guy the guy really early on, or I don't know what you expect to see?
Well, with Damian, I think that he's going to carry the football more than Marlon.
Yeah.
Nothing that Marlon has really shown me. I mean, Lovie Smith underscored that this week. What do the other running backs need to do? Play better. That's what he said. And he gushed about Damian.
He did.
And it was legitimate. It wasn't like I'm hyping a player up for some other reason, some ulterior motive. He was doing that because he genuinely feels that way. You could tell. And why wouldn't he? This kid's impressive. He's a physical back. He's in every stage of the game, he's shown them what they wanted to see. And he's answered every question. He can catch the ball. He can pick up blitz protection. He can run the ball. He can cut back. He can make his own hole. I don't care what his 40 time is, 4.59, so what? He plays a lot faster than that. And the kid's, yes, he's not tall, but he's a big guy. 5'10", 218 is plenty big.
Yeah.
He's a downhill, aggressive running back. And I think people don't really enjoy tackling this guy because he is that physical. My expectation is, unless Mac all of a sudden starts breaking long runs and showing the speed that he does have and getting free and the holes are bigger, then it's going to have to be a guy like Damian that's the primary back. Rex Burkhead, who's shown us good things before, he hasn't had a great preseason in limited action. He's had a fumble. He's had low yards. Royce Freeman's averaging 2.6 yards per carry heading into the third preseason game. He's the leading rusher. He's only got 51 yards. I mean, the only back that's really impressed is Damian.
Pierce. He opened a lot of people's eyes, no doubt about it, with that performance he had. And I will say this, he's one rookie that people are talking about a lot during the course of training camp, but excited to see when this regular season begins. You got Stingley back there on the defensive end, Jalen Petrie. Can't wait to see him really form into a really good leader. I think he's going to be a great leader on this team, and he's already shown signs of that in training camp, as a lot of teammates have spoken up about him. So there's things to be excited about, but there still are concerns on this team. I think we wouldn't be doing our jobs if we said otherwise. I mean, I think if they win 5-6 games,
very successful year.
It's a successful year with this group, especially with the schedule they're going to be playing.
Tough schedule, games like going to Las Vegas and going to Denver to play Russell Wilson, and it's tough. You start off against Matt Ryan, very experienced player, Jonathan Taylor, their running back. And I think it is going to be tough for them to say, well, they're going to, you can't count on sweeping the Jaguars necessarily. They've improved.
I think they're going to be improved. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be, I think we're going to see a guy that takes that big step. And
the Titans are still good. Yep. They're well coached by Mike Vrabel. When you look at this division, it's not easy. It's a better division than people give it credit for. And then you have, I think there's some winnable road games. You think about, but Miami is not a cakewalk. That's hard. No. They beat them last year. They have a really good defense.
I mean, I really don't see any road games where the Texans are right now. There's no lock that they're going to get a win. several years back when they were playing really good and winning divisions, you say, okay, that's probably a win.
Maybe Chicago.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's just winning on the road is just so hard,
totally
man.
Sold yet.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
And you think about they're going to be well coached. They're going to play hard. There's going to be a lot of games. They're going to play close. But
that's what I think you're going to see improvement in.
You can't – I think you got to look at the big picture, I think, for everyone. And what are they selling? They're selling hope. And you're hoping that you could see, if you're Nick Caserio, he's the architect of the roster, that Jalen Petrie, Damian Pierce, all these guys, Derek Stingley, that you have some foundational players. You have some guys that you want to have signed to second deals eventually, like Titus Howard, John Grenard. So you have some pieces.
Yeah.
And what do you need to do? You need to keep getting them. And then the whole year's got to be a decision.
And I think that's why next year is going to be, I think, an important year for this franchise.
Is Davis Mills the guy?
Right.
That's the most important thing.
We're going to know.
I think it's going to be clear cut.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be, I'm not sure. We need to go back and look at another year. Mm-hmm. And then are you going all in for C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young?
We can start talking about it again.
That'd be a very interesting offseason. But, they're going to give Davis every chance to prove that he should be the guy.
All right. It all starts on September 11th. The Texans home opener, season opener, I should say, against Indianapolis. Week 2, they'll be in Denver, and we're going to be off and running in the month of September. He is Aaron Wilson, longtime pro football writer with Promote, your main group you work with and write for.
Pro Football Network at www.profootballnetwork.com. I'm on
Great
Twitter,
group.
Aaron Wilson_NFL, and I'm even on Instagram, Aaron Wilson7128. I do post a few food pics and sometimes my wife Shannon.
Great food pics, by the way. Yeah, he and his wife Shannon, they know where to go eat. I mean, y'all, I give you a shout out, man. You guys, and then you put the pictures of the food. I mean, it makes me hungry every time I see
haven't gotten a free meal yet. The only thing they do is they repost it, and I might get a few followers.
Yeah.
I don't have a food blog. If anybody's out there listening.
Yeah, but y'all know the hot spots. There's no doubt about it. But, hey, it's going to be fun. And, of course, he's going to be contributing often, as you've seen already on click2houston.com, everything Texans. Aaron Wilson is all over. Good to have you on again, man.
Good to be here.
Second appearance on the podcast, and you'll be on more, and we'll see each other out at NRG Park and, of course, hopefully on the road a little bit as well.
Absolutely. Look forward to it.
All right. Good stuff. As we get ready, we will keep you updated on any moves the Texans do make roster-wise. Those are coming up in the days ahead, so get ready for that, and we will inch closer to opening week against September 11th. The Texans at home against the Indianapolis Colts, and this 2022 season will be off and running. As always, thanks for checking it out. Thanks for watching and listening, or maybe you've just been listening while you're driving. We appreciate you checking it out. It's been a good response since we launched this podcast. This is episode 7, so we'll keep doing them each and every week. They drop every Friday at 12:30.